welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's show, guys, is a special paranormal shutdown sent to me by a dear subscriber and friend, Mrs. Pat Jones, over in Michigan in the US. I do think you guys are going to really enjoy this paranormal set of stories with some ghostly encounters. And please do let us know what you thought down below in the comments. Of course, please do like and share. If you too have a story you want to share with us on the show or privately to myself, do please get in contact via email at deadman666@gmail.com, or you can find me over on the Facebook private group at DMT's Cabin in the Woods. I'd love to hear from you. Without further ado, guys, let's get into tonight's first story sent over by Pat, entitled My First Ghost Experience. Let's get straight into that. Some people do not believe in anything out of the normal, while others have an open mind. I believe in ghosts because I've seen several ghosts over the years. I did not go looking to seek them out. I'm not a ghost hunter. The time or situation was right, and I just saw them. The first time that I saw a ghost was back in the 1980s. My uncle had just passed and my aunt was all by herself in the house. My cousin, her daughter, was married and no longer lived at home. I said I would stay with my aunt for a few days so she would not be alone. The house was a ranch home with a single floor. You entered the house in the living room. Across from the living room was the kitchen, and off the kitchen was the laundry room and the furnace and the back door. In the living room to the left was the hallway that led to 3 bedrooms and the bathroom. The first room was across from the bathroom. This had been my uncle's bedroom, and of course the room I was told I could stay in. The hallway ended at the closets with a small bedroom to the left that was used for storage. To the right was the master bedroom and the room my aunt slept in. I had a little trouble getting to sleep. It wasn't my house or my room, so I did a little tossing and turning. My aunt's house was quiet and the room was dark, but not pitch black, because the light from the street light outside filtered through the blinds in the window. As I lay on my side trying to fall asleep, I started to feel uneasy, like I wasn't alone. For some reason, I started to become afraid. The fear was creeping up on me, and it was coming from the doorway to the bedroom. I looked over and saw a tall shadow of a man standing there. There were no features, just black. The figure was in the shape of a man and darker than the room. Of course, I did the brave thing and pulled the covers over my head. I could sense the figure come into the room, and I knew it was standing by the bed. It was like the fear floated before the figure. There was no sense of evil, just fear. The fear seemed to envelop me like a cocoon. I tried to think rationally, but it was hard to. The fear was thick. I remember saying quietly that it was me, your niece Patty. Please don't scare me. That I was here to help my aunt. I was so afraid that the figure would pull the covers down and the face would be straight across from mine. After a few minutes, the fear seemed to fade away. I peeked my head out of the covers and there was nothing. No one. No figure anywhere. I was relieved that the figure was gone. But then I grew upset with myself that I'd given in to fear and acted like a coward by pulling the covers over my head. After all, I was a grown woman in my 20s, and here I was, acting like a little kid. I let my fear take control, and I lost the only chance I had to say a final goodbye to my uncle. For my gut instinct told me it had been him, and that he had come to check up on my aunt, and was curious as to who was in the bed that he used to sleep in. I remember telling my aunt that my uncle had dropped by that night to check up on her. I don't remember if she believed me or not, but that was my first ghost experience. Second story sent over by Pat again was entitled the haunted trailer. Let's get straight into that. After my father died, my sister got the house and I ended up moving in with my friend into her trailer. It was a typical single wide trailer with 3 bedrooms, one which was very small. My friend decided to switch bedrooms and move into the bedroom in front of the trailer. She said I could have the back bedroom, which was the master bedroom, that had its own bathroom. I told her I didn't want the room, that it was her trailer and she should have the master bedroom. But she insisted. Heck, I would have been happy with the tiny bedroom. So, I moved in with my friend. Things seemed to go okay. Occasionally I would get a creepy feeling, especially when I was alone in the trailer, but I put that down to just being alone. We each had a dog and I had a cat too. None of the animals seemed to act weird or out of the ordinary. They never gave any indication that the trailer was haunted, and I didn't get any bad vibes about the trailer either. I remember one day that I decided to take a bath and just soak away the stress. I lit a couple of candles and put a relaxation CD into my CD radio player. I got into the tub and closed my eyes, letting the stress just melt away. While I was in the tub soaking, a strange feeling came over me. A kind of heaviness seemed to lay on me and push me under water. I remember my head going under the water and I lay there in the bottom of the tub. It was a weird feeling. I don't like going underwater and I have to plug my nose, pinch my nose closed, if I go swimming in a pool or lake, which I rarely do. I sometimes panic when I'm in the shower because I don't like water around my nose and mouth. I feel like I can't breathe and I'm going to drown. So here I was, slipping under the water in the bathtub. At this time, I felt like I split into 2 separate people. I could see myself lying in the tub, yet I was also in the tub. I could hear a voice in my head telling me I was going to be okay and that I could breathe. I was able to remain calm. I struggled to sit up out of the water. After about a minute, I was able to rise and sit up in the tub. I glanced out the bathroom doorway into the room and I saw a round circle of light that seemed to have a face. It looked like the face of a man. I could tell it wasn't happy. I could feel its anger and disappointment that I hadn't drowned, and then it zipped out of the room and around the corner into the kitchen. I got out the tub and got dressed. I was surprised that I hadn't panicked. Something had kept me calm, because if I had panicked, I think I surely would have drowned in the bathtub. I never saw that entity again while I lived there. I did mention the incident to my friend. I asked her if she'd ever had or seen the entity or anything strange at all, and she said yes, which is why she gave me that room. Needless to say, that was another reason why I decided to move out. Lucky me. About a year later, I found a place and moved in. A nice farmhouse on 10 acres that just happened to be haunted too. But that is another story. Story 3 from Pat. House hunting experiences and strange occurrences at the farm. Let's get straight into that. My father had passed away and I had moved in with my friend as my sister got the house. I was with my friend for about 6 months and I decided I needed to move out. I couldn't stand all the rules of the trailer park my friend lived in. Plus, her trailer was haunted. I also had a couple of horses and I wanted my own place so I could have my horses at my place instead of boarding them out. So, I started house hunting, which was an adventure in itself. There was one house I saw that had land that was near one of the Great Lakes. It was an older home built, I would say, in the 40s or 50s. It had plaster walls and ceilings and a lot of pine wood throughout the house. It actually reminded me somewhat of the house I grew up in. The owner was a little old lady in her 70s or 80s and very sweet. As I walked through the house, I could feel a presence. I got the feeling it didn't want me or anyone in the house. As the realtor was showing me around to the basement, I became very dizzy and nauseous. I had to get out of the house right then and there. I barely managed to get up the stairs to the main floor and out of the house. Once I did get out, I felt better immediately. Needless to say, I did not buy that house. It took about a year to actually find the right house. It was a small 3-bedroom house that had a barn for my horses and was close to a paved road. The fire station was literally around the corner, so was the local country store. I was in the country but not too far from the city and an hour's drive from work. The big plus was the well. The water was good tasting and didn't upset my stomach and give me intestinal trouble. The downside was the house was also haunted. I was standing in the kitchen looking out of the kitchen window and I could feel a presence. Everyone else had gone to the basement. I didn't want to repeat the previous experience, so I remember quietly saying that I was a good person and that I wanted the house, that both my parents were dead and the spirit could go and ask them about me if it had any questions. I also said it could stay if it was good and didn't bother me. I could feel the presence withdraw and I was able to go on looking at the place. I ended up buying the little farm on 10 acres, using a little bit of inheritance I had as a down payment. My friend ended up coming with me and leaving her little trailer. She had lost a job and gotten a new job in the area where my new house was. She worked evenings and didn't get home until early morning, so I was alone at night in the house. It was hard to get used to a new house and being alone in it. I knew I'd be okay because my dog wouldn't let anybody hurt me and would have attacked anyone that tried to break in. But that wasn't the issue. The house was very new to me and strange and creepy at night. At night I could hear noises coming from the basement. I could hear what sounded like bangs and someone walking down the stairs. I got up a couple of different times and would go through the house to the basement and open the door and there would be nothing. Dead quiet. So I would be frustrated and I would yell into the basement to knock off the noise and that I was trying to sleep and it was rude to be making so much noise. Then I would go back to bed. Sometimes that worked and it would be quiet. Other times the noises would start up again as soon as I got back into bed. It wasn't a constant noise but a bang here and there just when you would be ready to doze off. I had the headboard to my bed against the wall directly across from the bedroom door. One night, as I lay in bed facing the bedroom door, I could hear the noises start in the basement. Then, sounds of something coming up the stairs. My bedroom door was closed but not locked. I began to get really scared. I was terrified that something was going to come into the room as I lay in bed, looking at the door. I could see a white light in the hallway from the crack between the floor and the door. The light seemed to go up to each bedroom door. The hallway was actually a little square, with the main bedroom to the east, the second bedroom to the south, and the bathroom to the west, and another smaller bedroom to the north on the other side of the living room. I could feel a presence in the hallway. I was told after I bought the house that the old man that lived there before had fallen down the basement stairs and hit his head on one of the metal support poles at the bottom of the stairs and died. I figured this was him. I remember closing my eyes and praying for the light to go away, for the spirit to not come into the room and scare me. After a few minutes I opened my eyes and the light was gone. As soon as I could, I moved the heavy wooden workbench that was downstairs over against another wall. Once I did this, the noises in the basement stopped and I never saw that light again. However, I did end up seeing that old man. One morning I was getting into the car to go to work. As I was pulling around the circle driveway, I looked over towards the barn, which was located right behind the house. I could see into the pasture and I saw a figure of an older white man in overalls with a blue cap on his head. He was coming from the pasture and going towards the barn. It was just for a split second and he was gone. I had finally gotten to see the man that had been making all the noise in the basement. There was something about the property as well. I can remember taking pictures outside one evening, not too long after I bought the place, and getting a few pictures with some mist in them. It was a warm evening and you could not see your breath, and I don't smoke, so there was no logical explanation for the mist. I had gone to the local store to get the pictures developed. There was one picture the girl in the camera department refused to give me. Said the picture didn't come out. I told her I wanted it anyway, but I didn't get it. I could tell something about the picture bothered her or scared her. There were times at night when I would go out to the barn to bring the horses in, and they would be up close to the barn and a little nervous. Sometimes I would get the feeling that there was something in the way back corner of the field just staring at me and at the barn. Years ago, when I was in my 20s, I had gotten into what was called metaphysics, working with crystals and stones and such. I guess this had opened my senses somewhat. I remember praying and asking for protection for all the corners of the property. After I did this, I remember seeing a strange flash of light in the way back corner of the property, closest to the road. It was no car light or flashlight. It was some kind of spiritual or entity light. Because after I asked for protection, the house and property felt lighter, and I never got any more pictures with mist in them. One evening, I was in bed, in a state between awake and being asleep. I became aware of something outside the house by my bedroom window that wanted in. Whatever this thing was sent my senses off and woke me up out of that sleepy state. I woke up and went to the window and looked out, but I didn't see anything. But I just knew something was there. I could feel it. Whatever it was, I got the impression that it was big. I remember going to the window and telling what it was out there that it could not come in. It was not welcome nor invited, and to leave. I closed my eyes and surround myself and the house with the white light, and again asked for protection of whatever it was went away. One time I was watching my neighbour's house for her for the weekend. I went down to her house to let the dog out. While the dog was out doing his business, I went into my friend's bedroom to borrow a movie. Her room is off the back hallway behind her kitchen. As I was coming out of her room and heading down the hallway, I saw a blob of light that looked like a torso of a person at the same height as a person's torso come out of the second bedroom, cross the hallway and go into the kitchen. Of course, when I got to the kitchen, there was nothing there. When my friend got back home, I told her what I'd seen. We both thought it might have been her friend that stayed with her for a few months that later committed suicide while in hospital. It was strange to see that floating torso though. That was the only time I'd ever seen anything at my friend's house. Was it a dream or was it real? From Pat. Let's get straight into that. For some reason, I seem to be prone to having strange things happen to me. I don't know if it's something that runs in the family, or as my mother was kind of intuitive, or if it stems from getting involved with metaphysics. Anyway, here is another story from the farmhouse. This event occurred at the farm that I lived at. I must say this scared the hell out of me. I have never before or after this event had anything like it happen again. It was night time and I was in my bed. I had rearranged my room and my bed was now against the wall that was the front of the house. Down at the foot of the bed was the closet, and next to the closet was a small section of wall that had a small dresser against it. Then there was the door to the room and the floor lamp. I was sleeping and I woke up. I was afraid and sensed something wrong, like something was in the room with me. I got out of bed and went to the lamp and attempted to turn it on, but the lamp would not come on. Then I was attacked from behind. Something had come out of the closet and wrapped its hand around my neck and was choking me. I couldn't see anything because it was so dark in the room. I woke up. Wait, I woke up. So that was a dream. But it was so real. There was no weirdness or unrealness to the dream. I felt the lamp and I bumped into the dresser. It was real. My heart was racing. I got out of bed and went to the lamp. I was somewhat scared. What? The lamp didn't turn on. I started to go through the bedroom doorway into the hallway. Something grabbed me from behind and started to strangle me. I struggled, but I couldn't break free. I woke up. What, again? Am I awake? Is this a dream? Is this real? I couldn't tell. I pushed the covers off and got out of the bed. I could feel the floor underneath my feet. I walked to the lamp. The lamp didn't turn on. Something came up behind me and I turned and started hitting the blackness. I hit something, even though there was nothing there. I tried to run out of the room and I woke up. I made my way to the lamp, felt the lamp, and tried turning the light bulb to see if it was loose. I hoped this was the case and the lamp would come on, and of course something came up behind me from the closet and tried to hurt me. And, you guessed it, I woke up. This happened 4 or 5 times straight in a row. The last time I didn't even go for the lamp. I ran into the hallway and into the bathroom and turned on the light. And you know what? I was really awake. I went back into my room and the lamp turned on. Imagine that. I checked the closet, of course, and under the bed, nothing. Then I had to check the whole house, but I got the dog to go with me. And of course, there was nothing. I went back to my room and checked the closet again. I was afraid to go asleep. This time, I left the light on. And our final story, sent over by Pat Jones in Michigan, USA, is entitled Light Beings. Let's get straight into that. It was the weekend and I decided to lay on the couch and watch TV while under a big fluffy blanket. I hadn't been feeling well and I felt a bit feverish. I fell asleep and woke up a bit later. I must have been trying to break a good fever because I was sweaty and kind of out of it. I remember just feeling tired and drained. I looked over towards the kitchen and I saw 4 tall beings made up of light. It seemed like they were talking amongst themselves and one of them was gesturing towards me. I thought I heard one of them say, "She is not ready yet." I closed my eyes and fell back asleep, and when I woke up later, I was better and there was no sign of any light being. The closest thing that they looked like was the light being at the end of the movie, The Dark Crystal. This was no movie, and they were really there. Wow, thank you so much, Pat, for sending those over. Some very, very peculiar, strange happenings and experiences that you've had in your lifetime. Really do enjoy getting the ghosts and strange being entity type stories sent over. Don't get a lot, but hopefully that will build in the future. Guys, let us know what you think down below in the comments. Of course, please do like and share. And remember, if you wake up from a dream and try to turn the lamp on, and it doesn't turn on, and then you wake up again and again and again, just make sure you bolt for the doorway, and above all, be safe, not sorry.